Welcome in to another episode of the Black and Gold Report. John Gross alongside Dave Nguyen. And Dave, as always, there is a lot to talk about, a lot to recap in the world of UNCP athletics.
Yes, John, we have a lot of football highlights, Athletics Hall of Fame preview, as well as the diamond in the rough of this year's upcoming NFL draft.
All that and more next on the Black and Gold Report. There was a lot going on in the world of UNCP athletics in this past week. We'll start things off on the hardwood. How about UNCP women's volleyball? They've won 7 of their last 9 matches, including most recently a straight set victory against nearby St. Andrews. They make the trip down to USC Aiken this weekend for 4 matches. Now to the pitch, UNCP women's soccer, a strong start to the season again. They're 4-1 on the year. Most recently, a 2-1 win at Chowan. In that match, they scored both those goals late, and both came within 2 minutes of each other. Women's golf, they announced their 2019-2020 schedule, and it's bookended by a couple of home events. And that's something that UNCP women's golf head coach David Synan thinks is certainly an advantage.
It's down at Old South Golf Links in Bluffton. It's one of our home tournaments. It's a good course. We know it well. Last year we didn't get to play in it because of the hurricane, unfortunately, but hopefully we'll be there this year competing, and it's definitely a course that we can be successful on.
After opening the season with a thrilling 27-21 victory over Winston-Salem State at home, UNC Pembroke's football team took to the road for the first time this season. They made the trip up to Virginia State. Dave Nguyen has the highlights of what went down.
The game couldn't have started off any better for the Braves as Devin Jones finds a crease, uses a stiff arm, and accelerates down the far sideline for the game's first touchdown. The 87-yard kickoff return for Jones puts the Braves on the board. But on the ensuing extra point, Hunter Braswell would miss wide left. UNCP held a 6-0 lead 12 seconds into the game. Virginia State would respond on their first drive of the game as well. On first down on the UNCP 37-yard line, Demetrius Strickland goes up the middle of the defense for 25 yards, moving the chains to the 12-yard line. A few plays later, on 3rd and 4 from the 5, dual-threat quarterback Cordaro Cook rushes for a 6-yard score. Virginia State would convert on their extra point, taking a 7-6 lead. Later on in the first quarter, on their own 42, Cook throws a swing pass out to his running back, Darius Higgins, and he's got reservations for 6. The 58-yard catch and run gave the Virginia State Trojans a 14-6 lead after 1. We moved to the second quarter, where the Braves started to pick up their offense. With 4 minutes left in the first half on their own 25, McKinley Nelson gashes through the defense for 24 yards, setting up the Braves at midfield. On second down from midfield, quarterback Josh Jones tosses a pass over the Trojan defense into the diving arms of Fahim Diab for a 33-yard reception. Watch it again as Jones, with the pocket collapsing and pressure from his blind side, throws the ball where only Diab can haul it in for the amazing catch. Unfortunately, Virginia State's stout defense forced the Braves to kick a field goal. Braswell kicks this 33-yarder to make the score 14-9 Virginia State at the half. In the second half, Virginia State started out with the ball, and they continued with their ground attack. On second down inside the Braves' 25-yard line, Strickland scores on a 22-yard touchdown run, giving the Trojans a 21-9 lead. But the Braves would climb back. With under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter, facing a 3rd and 17 from their own 40, Josh Jones rolls to his left and somehow finds Shaman Hicks down the far sideline for 23 yards. Take a look at this again as Jones runs outside of the pocket, throws across his body, allowing Hicks to put the Braves in Trojan territory. We head to the fourth with UNCP continuing the drive. Jones on 1st and 10 from the 27 runs for 8 yards, placing the Braves inside the 20. After converting on 3rd down and a face mask penalty on Virginia State, Jones on 2nd and goal with 5 receivers out wide, tosses another basket catch to Diab for a touchdown. Diab, with 2 athletic grabs, kept his feet in bounds for the touchdown, making the score 21-16 Virginia State. On the ensuing kickoff, a big moment here. It appears that Trojan return man Andre Jackson coughs up the football and it is recovered by UNCP, but the referees decided to give the ball to Virginia State on a costly game-changing call. After their fumble recovery, Darius Hagan scores his second touchdown of the game. He finished with 193 all-purpose yards, 2 touchdowns, including this 55-yarder to give Virginia State a 28-16 lead. Tor Wallace would add this 30-yard touchdown run as Virginia State rushed for 394 yards, scoring 4 total touchdowns on the ground from Hagans, Strickland, Cook, and Wallace. The Braves fall by a score of 35-16, dropping their record to 1-1. A few weeks ago, the UNCP Athletics Committee voted on 5 members for the 2019 Athletics Hall of Fame. Here's a tribute to their accomplishments. The UNCP Athletics Committee would like to honor the following individuals for the 2019 Athletics Hall of Fame class: Ray Nixon, Richard Thompson, Roger Carr, Iris Bethea, and Tommy Thompson. Nixon and Thompson become the 29th and 30th baseball players to enter the Athletics Hall of Fame at UNCP for their hard work on the diamond. Nixon is one of 2 pitchers in UNCP baseball history to post a perfect record, as he was 8-0 back in 1973. The only UNCP pitcher to accomplish that feat is Matt McGovern when he posted a 9-0 record in 2009. Richard Thompson was a second baseman for UNCP, a part of the first recruiting class of former head coach Ray Pennington. The Greensboro, North Carolina native was a solid middle infielder for UNCP, good enough to be drafted 59th overall by the Los Angeles Dodgers in the 3rd round of the 1966 MLB draft. Interesting enough, Thompson was drafted 1 spot ahead of 10-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glover, and 1974 NL MVP Steve Garvey. Thompson spent 5 seasons in the Dodgers organization, spending 4 of his 5 years at Single-A. In his 5 years in the Dodgers minor league system, Thompson had a career batting average of .247 with 321 hits, 43 doubles, 8 triples, 7 home runs, 125 RBIs, and an on-base percentage of .329. Roger Carr and Iris Bethea are 2 of 40 members of the men's and women's basketball team to be in the Athletics Hall of Fame. Carr played for the Braves from 1979 to 1983 and is one of 36 players in UNCP history with more than 1,000 points. In his 4 years on the hardwood, Carr scored 1,508 points, 11th all-time in school history. Iris Bethea finished her first 3 years from 1991 to 94 and finished her final year in the 1996-97 school year. She is one of 20 women to score more than 1,000 points in UNCP women's basketball history. Bethea was Peach Belt Conference Freshman of the Year in 1992, earned second-team All-Conference in 93, and was first-team All-Peach Belt Conference in 1994. She finished her career scoring the 4th most points in UNCP women's basketball history with 1,759. Her daughter Asia currently plays basketball for Wichita State University. But of all the members of the 2019 Athletic Hall of Fame class, no one has a more decorated career than Dr. Tommy Thompson. The Lumberton, North Carolina native was an all-around student at Lumberton High School, serving as a co-captain of the football and baseball teams his senior year. He would earn all-conference honors for both sports as well. As one of the top football players in the state, Thompson was also invited to play in the annual East-West game. Thompson had the intentions to attend college in Pembroke, but when his father passed away a few months after his high school graduation, he decided to change course and joined the Air Force, serving for 4 years. He would attend Pembroke College, now known as UNCP, earning a Bachelor of Science in Physical Education. He then began teaching and coaching at his alma mater, Lumberton Senior High School. Thompson worked under Alton Brooks and Finley Reed, which was an easy transition for him since he played under these coaches as a student. Thompson was also an assistant football coach for Lumberton under Paul Willoughby. In his tenure as an assistant football coach, Thompson had 2 standout players, Donnell Thompson and Ruffin McNeil. Donnell Thompson earned a football scholarship at UNC Chapel Hill and was drafted 18th overall by the Baltimore Colts in the 1981 NFL Draft. He would spend 14 years in the NFL, a majority of them in Indianapolis. Ruffin McNeil earned a football scholarship at East Carolina University from 1976 to 1980. McNeil became a coach after his playing days, earning a graduate assistant position at Clemson University. From there, McNeil made coaching stops at East Carolina, Appalachian State, Texas Tech, the University of Virginia, and is currently the outside linebackers coach and an assistant to Lincoln Riley at the University of Oklahoma. Tommy Thompson would earn his master's degree at Western Carolina University and was brought to UNCP staff to teach and coach by former baseball coach Richard Pennington, who was then the chairman of UNCP's physical education department. Thompson helped UNCP turn the corner in 1970 as it was recognized as a full-fledged regional university. In that time, Thompson taught almost every subject while coaching the women's tennis team and assisted coaching on the baseball team. Thompson would express his well-rounded personality when he became the head coach of the volleyball team in 1981. He was able to get the ground running early on the program, earning the NAIA District 26 Volleyball Coach of the Year honors in 1983. Thompson is the all-time winningest volleyball coach in UNCP history with a record of 186 and 81 from 1981 to 88, a winning percentage of almost 70%. While he is the 11th coach to reach the Athletics Hall of Fame, his contributions go beyond the court. For 28 years, Dr. Tommy Thompson was named chairman of UNCP's Health, Physical Education, and Recreation Department, making large strides to make UNCP one of the best Division II schools in the country. One of his responsibilities was to implement new programs to campus. Thompson was able to accomplish that feat, becoming one of the driving forces for the physical education program with majors in recreation, exercise and sports science, health promotion, and athletic training. He is proud of those accomplishments, especially for the athletic training major, making UNCP the only school in the southern part of North Carolina with this program. Thompson played a major contributor in athletics, serving as one of the wheels for building the school's athletic training room, which is regarded as one of the best in Division II athletics. Thompson's contributions to UNCP made a big impact on where the school stands today, serving on projects that helped create new offices, classrooms, the Campbell Wellness Center, a trophy case, and the Braves Club Room. Thompson retired from UNCP in 2015, serving its campus for 45 years.
One of the coolest opportunities as athletic director was getting the chance to hear the Hall of Fame committee unanimously select Tommy Thompson for this year's class. It's really special. Dr. Thompson was on a search committee that hired me here as a mentor and a great friend. And looking back through our history, he was really a Swiss Army knife for our athletic department, coaching multiple teams, working in administration, helping in game operations. He's a great man. He's been dedicated to our community and to this university for a long time. And this is something that is truly special for everybody that worked with him, and I know for he and his family it means a lot. So really proud of him and excited that we get to honor him in this way.
There's a lot that goes into making UNC Pembroke athletics the best it can be in all facets of an athletic program. And the one man behind it all is Dick Christie. I had a chance to sit down and chat with UNCP's Director of Athletics. All right, Dick, now a few weeks into the 2019-2020 athletic season. What's that first day like of the athletic season for you? Is that like waking up on your birthday?
That's a pretty good analogy. Our first day of the season, I think, is when we start to see the life and the energy back on campus. So when camp starts for football, when volleyball and soccer, cross-country report, and you see those guys really get churning and getting back to work, that's when the energy level really kicks up a bunch of notches.
Now, at least the last few years when we've started the athletic season, there's been a bit of a hiccup. Hurricanes have been prevalent last few years. And what's that process like for you to work things out with the Hurricane?
It's a good question. Yeah, a lot of the Division II and Division I schools on the East Coast have had to become experts in emergency management. Just proud of our team and our coaches. The resilience. Now it's just kind of, okay, what's the plan, what's the forecast, what's the safest and smartest thing to do, and still make sure that we're providing a competitive environment for our teams. So, last year was a significant impact with Florence, and we had to, really try and take the safe road on some things, which impacted our fall sports. We were very fortunate, so far with Dorian, obviously, and the track that took and the amount of rainfall that we got. But it's interesting. There's so many different variables. It's not like there's one format that you can say, okay, in this situation, we're going to cancel practice. You really have to take each situation as it comes and get the best information from the Weather Center in Wilmington and make sure that we're making decisions with our emergency responders and, being savvy with all that stuff. So it has been a trial by fire, but I feel like our coaches and our teams have really shown some great resilience and, proud of the way we've handled it.
Now, take me through a typical summer for you, because obviously for student athletes and for coaches might be the off season, but for you, I'm sure there's always something going on.
Well, I would say our coaches probably don't get an off season
Right,
either. They're
that's
focusing on recruiting, but the biggest thing for us, I always want our athletes to come back and see some progress. So, as we tackle things in our strategic plan, as we look at the next projects, really trying to make sure that when they come back on campus, they can see some growth, they can see some energy, and helps fire them up to put in the work that they need to be their best. So we've been fortunate the last couple summers to really be able to kind of pick different projects, whether it be facility-wise or travel accommodations or different things like that, to make sure that they're coming back to a first-class experience.
You mentioned some of those recent updates. What are some things that over this summer you and your department were able to work on for student athletes and for fans for this coming season?
Yeah, so we did some repair and renovation in our athletic training room. We're fortunate we have one of the best athletic training facilities in Division II, and we have hydrotherapy pools and underwater treadmills. So we did some maintenance in there. Joey Tamburo and his staff did a great job in making sure that was up and running for our athletes as they came back. And then probably the biggest investment we made this summer was in our athletic performance facilities. So it's rare. We have 2 athlete-only strength and conditioning facilities here, which is relatively unique for Division II. And all of that area and square footage was renovated. So new flooring, new bumper plates, new racks. We're finishing up some of the final details now on the Jones Center one, but those now, in addition to the coaching and the square footage that we've had as an advantage now, those are first-class facilities that we can get more athletes through in a shorter amount of time to make sure that they're out at class, they're on time, and they've put in the work that they need to be as competitive as possible.
And I know that the press box as well, the football stadium was updated as well, and I have to say that is beautiful, and I certainly appreciate it as somebody who will be using it.
Just for you.
So another big development that happened back in April, the announcement of the extension of your agreement with Adidas through 2023 and 2024. What does that do for your program to have a relationship with an apparel company like that?
So this is our second go. We had a 4-year agreement with Adidas previously, and we had a lot of good suitors come to the table, and we're very fortunate. Johnson & Lamb, our team authorized dealer out of Raleigh, and Adidas, under the leadership of Ron Mulkey, they've just been first class. The product line has continually improved over the term of our agreement, and our athletes are excited to wear it. So we really feel like it puts us in a great position, both financially and competitively, with what our athletes can be geared up in on the field.
Are there any major projects that you foresee coming down the road?
Biggest thing we're working on right now is a new outdoor complex for campus. So campus recreation has been extremely successful. Their numbers are booming. They need more access to fields, so we're looking at renovating Lumbee Field so that they can have a lighted and artificially turfed field. And in conjunction with that, making sure that our baseball and softball programs can upgrade their facilities. So indoor hitting areas, trying to renovate some of the concourse and fan areas, just making sure that those can be as nice as possible and keeping all that energy right in the heart of campus. So rather than rebuilding, we're looking at renovating where we're at because we have a great location. So that's going to be our focus. We still have some fundraising to do to make that happen, but we're hoping to make that a reality sooner rather than later.
Now, in addition to your role here at UNC Pembroke, you also sit in the NCAA Division II Championships Committee. What's your role on that committee, and what does the committee do as a whole?
So very fortunate. I just wrapped up a term on the football selection committee and had the opportunity to go on to championships. Getting to see things at that 30,000-foot level and follow the guidance of the NCAA staff. I had my first meeting last week, so have a lot to learn still. But I'll be the liaison for baseball and men's basketball, so get a chance to work a little bit more closely with those two championships and really hear what's going on around the division at all of the championships, so we can put our teams in a position to be competitive as we hear about changes and rules and championship structure and things like that. So it's going to be a great experience. I'm looking forward to learning a lot.
5 sports making their way into the Mountain East Conference. Football will be starting next year in the Mountain East, but you have 4 other sports will be starting this year. First time since UNCP joined the D2 ranks that all 16 programs will be in a conference. How big of a deal is that?
It's huge. When you recruit a student athlete, you want to give them the opportunity to win a championship and to have, academic and conference accolades, and we can say that now for all of our 400 student athletes. So it's exciting. We really feel like it's a great fit. The leadership in the Mountain East, their commissioner and their athletic directors and presidents have been very strategic, and we feel like it's going to be a really good opportunity for us to get those teams showcased and give them a chance at a championship.
All right, Dick, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Let's be honest, everyone loves a great mascot, and really, there's no better mascot than our very own Brave Hawk. And it's a big weekend for our favorite bird. It's Brave Hawk's birthday. This weekend, the UNCP mascot turns 27 years old. Yes, 27 years old. And Brave Hawk got quite the present to celebrate its 27th birthday. Let's take a look.
Some NFL teams are successful because they have a player that most teams did not know about. They call those the diamonds in the rough. The gem of this year's 2020 NFL Draft is right here in Pembroke, in UNCP's Dominic Davis. Here's part 1 of our 3-part interview series in this week's Meet the Brave segment with Dominic Davis.
Dominic, thank you for joining me in the Meet the Braves segment. Really appreciate it. Just how you doing, by the way?
I'm doing real good. Just got to practice.
Yeah, I mean, it's football season. Just what does that mean to you, the fact that it's football season, everyone's going out, pads are clicking, smell the grass, everyone's in the turf, digging in, just all the football sounds and vibes. Just what does it mean, the fact that it's football season right now?
I just feel like it's one of my favorite times of the year. I mean, this is what I feel like I was born to do. It's like home to me, just coming here. It's like second nature to me. So that's what I like to do.
When did you first start playing football?
Probably Parks and Rec. I was around like 8 years old. I really wasn't that good. I was getting in the habit of, it was too physical for me. But as I got older, I adjusted to it. So.
Now, were you always a big kid? Were you always one of the bigger kids in your grade?
I was big, but I was short.
Okay.
Very short, though. I was kind of chubby. So, I was fat then, yeah.
So when did you turn the fat into muscle? Or is that still a work in progress?
Nah. Probably when I was in high school, my freshman year, I was really like 5'7", real fat. And then going into the end of my junior year, I started getting taller, a lot leaner and stuff like that. That's when that started changing. My body started changing.
So did you have a growth spurt when you were in high school?
Yeah, from actually like the beginning of my senior year, I was like 5'10", 215. 5'10", 215. By the end of my senior year, I was 6'2", 245.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Not the Anthony Davis growth spurt,
Nah.
but a good enough growth spurt.
Yes, sir.
AD, I don't know if you know, but he went from being 6'2" or 6'4" to 7 foot.
Yeah, he went from a guard to a center. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that, yeah.
All right, so you're from Laurinburg, North Carolina, a very small town. Just what does that mean to you as far as being from a small town? There's not a whole lot around. Everyone kind of knows each other. How does that help you, or how did that help you mold your character to who you are right now?
Just seeing like the other people that had a chance, you know, to make it out, like they really didn't take that chance and turn it into something else, if you know what I'm saying. It was kind of hard for me at first, you know. I ain't really had nobody to motivate me, so I had to just motivate myself, you know, and just look at it as a small town. You know, we really ain't got that many resources, so I kind of had to just make something out of nothing, just keep grinding and stuff like that.
I feel you that, and I think it allows you to stay humble. Is that a good way to put it?
Yeah, it definitely makes me stay humble, definitely coming from nothing.
Now, did you play other sports growing up too, or is it just strictly football?
Yeah, I was pretty good at baseball. I played basketball, but I was very good at baseball, but I always wanted to play basketball. I just wasn't tall enough.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What did you play in basketball?
Power forward.
Okay, I could see that.
Yeah,
If when you mess around with the guys, with your friends, do you still play ball every once in a while?
Yeah, definitely.
So
yeah,
do you line up in the block?
Yeah.
Right, and then
yeah.
you call for the ball?
Yeah. The opposing moves,
Yeah.
I'm in the post. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
Not afraid to throw elbows?
Nah. I'm real rough. Yeah.
Well, being a defensive tackle, you can't be afraid, right?
No, sir.
When did you know that playing college football could be a reality? Because some people just play high school football and that's it. So when did you know that you could have a chance to make your dreams come true?
End of my senior year, when I was getting recognized by schools, you feel what I'm saying? It was just different. Like, other people from where I'm from, they really don't get the opportunity. I was getting invited on visits. You know, it's kind of weird for me because I ain't never seen nobody else go on visits before. So it was just hard going out of Laurinburg because I ain't never been outside Laurinburg. So that's one of the things that kind of made me who I am today.
Another busy week of UNCP athletics is in the book, but still plenty of events to come here in late September. Let's take a look at this week's upcoming UNCP athletics schedule. On Sunday, UNCP golf wraps up the battle at Old South. On Tuesday, women's volleyball, they have a doubleheader at Wingate, first taking on Wingate, and then after that against Belmont Abbey. A busy day on Saturday, cross country. They trek out to Nashville, Tennessee to participate in the Trevecca D2 Showcase. Swimming opens their season at Columbia College. And then back at home, UNCP women's soccer at 1:30. They host highly ranked Columbus State in a Peach Belt Conference matchup. And then the nightcap, 7 p.m., UNCP football. The Braves at home once again against Limestone. That'll do it for this week's episode of the Black and Gold Report. For John Gross, Dave Nguyen, thanks for joining us.
And tune in next week.